Hey, this is Dr. Yates, and we're here in Chicago, and we're making another video to talk about African American hair, or what I call it is Afrocentric hair. And Afrocentric hair is a little different than other hairs because the hair is in the direction of a C, so it's very difficult to transplant, and the density you get, we don't have the same density in the back of our heads that a lot of other races do, so you got to be very careful with it. So I want to show one of my patients. This is Julian before, about a year and a half ago, and this is Julian after we've done what we call the Yates method, or the Yates trifecta method to Afrocentric hair. Because Julian, good for me, is a barber, so he was, very critical of what he wanted with his hair. You just weren't going to anybody, right?
That's correct.
You knew the word on the street, who to go to, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. He knew what to do. So now I'm going to just explain basically the way that you get results, because you wear, we wear our hair short, sometimes you wear it a little longer, is F.U.E. You do not want that big scar in the back of your head with our type of hair, because our hair will not cover that scar. I don't care who tells you that it's going to be covered, and I used to do that surgery because I thought it used to cover the scar. It will not cover the scar. I guarantee you, it will not cover the scar, okay? Number two is pigment. What we do is we use medical grade pigment. It's not a tattoo, and I hate when people say tattooing, because like in medicine you can actually put pigment in different parts of the body to create images and disguise scars. So we put pigment throughout the hair, throughout the scalp, to mimic like 5 o'clock shadow. So this won't go off. You take a shower, won't come off. Maybe in a year to 3 years you might have to have it touched up. But you can come and look close at him and you can say, hey, we reproduce the natural pattern of hair in his head. And then the third thing that you may or may not do is apply fibers. Excuse me. And the fibers just gives actually even more texture. So the reason that we do what we do is because when you wear your hair this close, with a hair transplant alone, nobody on earth can achieve this type of density. You just cannot do it when you're starting off like this. If he just had F.U.E. alone without using pigment and or fibers, he could never get this look. So I don't want anybody to be under any false impressions that people come out looking like this just from a hair transplant. I'm going to tell you, it's impossible. And I challenge anybody whose hair looks this tight and looks this good, who said they only had a hair transplant or not wearing anything, to come show it to me so we can put them under the water and let me see. So Jillian, I've talked enough, but I just want to tell my patients who want to come to me, when we talk about a hair transplant in Afrocentric patients, we always talk about 3 things. We move hair to get 3 dimension, we plus or minus pigment or fibers, and we have to agree that the patient is going to follow all of these things, or depending on what I think they need, or we don't do them, because you can't get results like this, or Jamie Foxx, or all the other people everybody wants a hairline like. So you're in the business, so you're a stylist, so you can say what's your experience. You going from this to that, I'm going to have to tell you, that's a big change.
Definitely. Being a hairstylist, barber, I see a lot of different hair issues, hairstyles, and especially with men, African American men, we shave our heads bald primarily because we no longer have a hairline, or we have a receding hairline. This particular process, as you saw the previous pictures, allowed me to achieve a hairline that not only looked natural, I didn't have any fear of it getting wet. Sometimes guys use colors to camouflage, and when they do that, you have the fear of the color running. This particular process put me in the same situation. Everything looks natural. I shampoo my hair and I go along.
And that's big. I tell everybody all the time, all you got to do is watch Sports Center and watch all those shows with all those athletes, and look how the light shines on their head. A lot of them are using those products, those coloring products, to color in their hair, and I must say, in all fairness to them, it looks terrible. Okay, and I don't know who's telling them to do it, but they're getting bad information, because this under light looks good. This in the swimming pool looks good. This, if you touch somebody's head, it's nothing coming off on your hand. And the other thing is, who's going to touch your head anyway? Like a lot of guys always say, well, if you touch my head, will it come off? Who touches a man's, comes out and rubs your head? You know, I mean, I don't even know why they asked you that question. But to really get good results, and I've had hair transplants as well. I've had pigment. Everything that I've done with Julian, it's been done to me. Pigment, F.U.E. plus or minus fibers. It almost has to be an agreement that you're willing to do that. If you're going to say, "Oh, doc, I'm only coming to you to get a hair transplant because that's what I want," then I'm going to say, "Well, you need to go somewhere else because we can't give you what you want. You have to agree to go down this path." Now, the other thing people say about pigment: what if my hair turns gray? If his hair turns gray, all the better. He'll just look salt and pepper and look like Frederick Douglass, and we get you a pipe and you'll look distinguished. No big deal. Okay. So there's always reasons not to do something, but you got to look at reasons for to do something. And everybody, you know, like you said, a lot of black guys, we shave our heads. It's always known, oh, black guys look good with the shaved head. But everybody looks better with hair. I mean, I don't care. You know, if you want to fool yourself, you can say whatever you want. But I mean, don't you think everybody looks better with their hairline?
Definitely.
Definitely. I mean, it's not a deal breaker. You know, it's not a deal breaker if you don't have hair, but don't, you know, be in denial and think that, you know, you look better with a bald head. If you want to do something about it, do something about it. We have the answer. If you don't, it's okay. So any parting words, Julian? Because I'll talk forever.
No, I honestly want to say this. I've been searching for numerous years to find a product or a procedure that will enable me to be able to reinforce or restore my hairline. And I use different kind of dyes, gels, etc. And nothing gave me the satisfaction that the process that I have now has.
And it's very low maintenance. I mean, it's really nothing you have to do. No. Okay, so we've talked enough. So it's Saturday here in Chicago, so come see us if you're willing to do the Yates trifecta. If you're not willing to do it, don't come see us, because that's all we're going to talk about. Thanks a lot.